day, we make countless decisions that determine the type of world we live in.
Every choice we make has an impact on the world around us.
But we're currently consuming as if we had 1.5 planets.
But there's only one.
We need to start treating our planet as if our lives depended on it.
Because our lives do depend on it.
It is so easy to take the easy option, but convenience comes at a cost. And for too long now, too many of us have been taking that easy option at a huge environmental and social cost.
Our choices can no longer purely be based on time and cost. This has led to the destruction of societies and our environment.
It's the food we eat, the clothes we buy, and the decisions that we make that impact the world around us. And the way we continue to act is going to determine our future.
So we now consume 80 billion pieces of clothing each year. That's 400% more than we did 20 years ago. Now, even if all the clothing in the world was produced ethically, the problem is still that we consume too much. Our world can simply no longer continue to provide the resources required to continue to consume at the rate we do.
The collapse of Rana Plaza, a Bangladeshi factory, in 2013 perfectly illustrates the effect that our consumption has on the people that make our clothing. Despite worker concern regarding the structural safety of this building, nobody cared enough to change it. This resulted in 1,134 people needlessly losing their lives. But it's not just the people either, it's the environment. The Aral Sea, once the world's 4th largest lake, is now 1/10 of its original size as a direct result of over-irrigation for cotton farming.
A process that takes 20,000 litres of water to produce one cotton t-shirt.
This area of land was never intended to be used for cotton, but as the demand for the textile grew, so too did the incentive to produce it, at great environmental cost.
We need to slow down, become conscious consumers, and really, truly consider whether we need that new outfit. So we are the co-founders of Little Yellow Bird, a company revolutionising the way that corporates purchase and use their uniforms. As bulk buyers of garments, corporates need to be leading the way for conscious purchasing. We design and manufacture ethically made workwear, taking into consideration the environment and the societies at every stage of the process.
We not only work closely with the people in our factories, but we also know where the products and the materials have been woven, dyed, ginned, right back to the farming level, where we visit and invest in our cotton-growing communities that grow organic, rain-fed cotton. We are deeply passionate about changing the garment industry. Fast fashion companies, for example, will use people to sew one seam hour upon hour, day after day. For some people, this is 80 hours a week with little or no pay. At Little Yellow Bird, we do things differently. Our workers work a maximum of 45 hours a week, and they'll sew an entire garment from start to finish and proudly sign their name to the hang tag. Our aim is to connect the people that make clothing with the people that wear it, and to answer that question, who made my clothes? There are 60 million people that work in the garment industry, but somewhere along the line, we seem to have forgotten that clothing is made by people. These are the people that make some of our clothing.
Our problem is that we are consumers, and to live, we will always be consumers. But our world cannot keep up with this. Our current rate of consumerism is unsustainable. And the root of the problem is really our attitude towards clothing. But this consumerist attitude is not isolated to clothing. The amount we consume in all areas of life is unsustainable. And it's the way we consume that's the problem. We want it fast, we want it cheap, and we want lots of it. For example, chocolate. Chocolate used to be consumed as a delicacy, as a treat at a special occasion. But now we consume it in huge blocks, in a huge amount, and on a regular basis. And because of this change in consumption, we have seen world problems. For example, where cocoa beans come from, there are millions of children working in those fields. And palm oil, a product used in chocolate by most brands, but not the Wellington Chocolate Factory, is causing deforestation and the destruction of animal habitats.
What about something as simple as paper even? When I worked in the military, and even at university, I used to see people print out 100-page documents, take them to a meeting or an exam, read them once or not at all, and simply throw it away. But what's the effect of all of that? Well, first of all, it takes 10 litres of water to produce even a single sheet of paper. So what can we do?
We need to stop. Think about every purchase we make and its impact on the world. We need to look for fair trade, organic, buy secondhand. We really need to stop impulse buying. Some of you out there are wanting to start companies or are already running one. We ask you to please look at your business model, each step of the process, and how it's impacting the world. At Little Yellow Bird, we took an industry that's been around for generations and turned it into an innovative way to change the world.
But you don't have to start a business to start making a difference. Become an advocate or a champion in your workplace and challenge yourself and others to simply start consuming less. We cannot afford to wait for businesses to offer us all the solutions, and real change has to be driven by consumer demand. And that starts with all of you. Thank you.